Motorcycles come in all shapes, sizes and prices. In this video we'll take a look at 6 of the most expensive production bikes that can be bought, with one special mention at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around for that. The bikes on this list are all part of a production run, so multi-million-dollar one-off special builds like the Yamaha BMS choppers don't make this list. The bikes on this list are a fraction of that price, but still the most expensive production bikes available. We'll take a look at various details of the bike and special features that stand them apart from other motorbikes and may or may not justify their 6-figure price tags. Hello and welcome to Moto Chatter. Let's dive into the details. The Vyrus Alyen 988 is an all-Italian piece of motorcycle exotica. It is hand-built in Rimini, Italy and looks like it is ridden straight out of the future. It is powered by the Ducati 1299 Super Quattro engine, which is a 1285cc desmodronically valved 90-degree V-twin, and is putting out a huge 205 horsepower at 10,500 rpm, with 103 pound-foot of torque at 9,000 rpm. It has a 6-speed gearbox with slipper clutch and quick shifter of course. The engine is a proven package, so what about the rest of the bike? The Alyen 988 is the brainchild of Vyrus founder Asciano Rodrigo and is the evolution of previous Vyrus models going back 20 years. Rodrigo has a wealth of experience in motorcycle engineering, as well as previously working for Bimotor, where he helped to develop the hub center steering system for the Tessie. And as you can see, this is something Rodrigo carried over to the Alyen 988, helping to give it a distinctive stance and look. And although the hub center steering system is complex, Vyrus are keen to highlight the important benefits it has over conventional fork suspension. There are 2 main advantages: one of consistent performance at high lean angles with no chatter. Conventional forks become less efficient at high lean angles and chatter can occur. The second advantage is that weight transfer under braking doesn't affect the balance of the bike. The brakes are independent from the suspension system, creating a stable and smooth ride even at 10/10 on track. In addition to the hand-built attention to detail, big Ducati Desmo V-twin, hub center steering and futuristic looks, your $100,000 also gets you a very lightweight machine. With forged magnesium wheels and swing arms front and rear, a magnesium omega frame and carbon fiber bodywork. Even the airbox is CNC'd aluminium. Suspension is via 2 Öhlins TTX40 monoshocks, 1 at each end, and brakes are Brembo GP4 RRP4 monoblock calipers with carbon ceramic discs, just like in MotoGP. There are a choice of colour finishings, but I think it looks best in black, which contrasts well with the gold of the Ducati engine casings and other finishings on the Alyen 988. There are some really exquisite touches on the bike. It has a unique looking dash and an obsessive attention to detail, Moto GPS switchgear and a push start, not to mention the engineering philosophy behind it and that sweet Desmo V-twin engine, which you can't even buy new in a Ducati now. Vyrus have sold around 250 units worldwide, so if you can front up the cash, you would be joining an exclusive club, and it is the cheapest bike on this list, so it could turn out to be something of a bargain in this company too. The Brough Superior AMB 001 is a collaboration between Brough Superior and Aston Martin. They say that the bike represents the union of iconic Aston Martin design and state-of-the-art Brough Superior engineering to create a piece of automotive art for the motorbike connoisseur. Brough Superiors have always been high performance, high quality and expensive motorcycles right back from their origins in Nottingham, UK in 1908. The original company was wound up in the 1940s, but the name and patents were revived around 10 years ago, and Brough Superior currently offer a 5-bike model range, with all the bikes being built in France, taking the original ethos of the early Brough Superiors into the modern age. And this is the pinnacle of their range, the AMB 001. It is a track-only machine and limited to just 100 bikes. The design of the bike certainly echoes Aston Martin cars, and the AMB 001 bears the Aston Martin badge on the front fairing. But it isn't just a show pony. The bodywork is all carbon fibre and some of it is structural. Underneath the bodywork there is a turbocharged 997cc 80-degree hand-built V-twin with 4 valves per cylinder and chain-driven cams. The turbo is low inertia and runs through an intercooler to improve both efficiency and avoid turbo lag, which Brough say results in a strong torque band through a wide rev range. The engine has a bore and stroke of 94 by 71.8mm and is putting out peak power of 180 horsepower. The engine also forms a structural part of the chassis. It is bolted to a solid backbone of CNC machined aluminium, with the subframe being made from carbon fibre with a helping of titanium in there too. The swing arm is CNC'd from solid aluminium and bolts directly to the back of the engine. The front suspension uses a double wishbone setup. It is said to be more stable when cornering and on the brakes. The front forks are machined from billet aluminium too, with a preload and rebound adjustable monoshock. There is also a preload and rebound adjustable monoshock at the rear on a progressive linkage. The brakes are bespoke to the AMB 001 and are twin 4-piston calipers on 320mm discs up front, with a 2-piston caliper on a 230mm disc at the rear. The wheels are machined from aluminium and have a unique design to the AMB 001. With all these lightweight materials, the AMB 001 is light and weighs in at just 180 kilos dry, which isn't too bad considering it is not a pared down racer, although it doesn't have lights and indicators etc. as it is track only. There is a range of standard colour options and finishings for the AMB 001, but every Brough Superior can be fully customised and made bespoke to the buyer, so you're not limited by the options here. Each AMB 001 is hand built at the workshop in France and bears the name of the builder as well as the number of the bike in the run of 100. It is a stunning bike, particularly of what you can see of the engine, with the CNC machined billet aluminium engine covers and the exhaust curving its way around the engine to exit out of the lower fairing. From some angles I'm not convinced by the sloping front end of the bike, as it has a fish-like appearance, but from other angles it looks unique and quite elegant, which is the issue with the AMB 001. As a track-only bike, it is too elegant. It isn't sure if it's a piece of art or for blasting round a track day on. At this price and the cost of crash repairs, I would not expect to see too many of them out flying round a track, but it would be nice if you did, as I am sure the pictures don't do it justice. Yes, it is expensive, but you can see where the money goes, plus being limited to just 100 units is sure to keep prices high. Next on the list is the PGM V8, and yes, as the name gives away, it has a V8 engine, but this isn't a car engine that has been levered into a bike frame. The PGM V8 hails from Australia and is the brainchild of Paul Maloney, a fully qualified engineer who has almost 20 years of experience working across Formula 1, World Superbikes and MotoGP. Together with his Australian Superbike and World Superbike experience team, he has developed the PGM V8, the most powerful production bike in the world. The V8 engine is 1996cc and is essentially two mid-2000s Yamaha R1 engines joined together, and so is a 40-valve engine. It has a ride-by-wire throttle and is putting out an enormous 334 horsepower at 12,800 RPM, with 158 pound-foot of torque, and it has a red line of 13,500 RPM. The bike is supplied with an exhaust system that is custom built by Agropovich from titanium alloy. You can choose titanium or carbon silencers, but will also get the handmade MotoGP style system supplied with the bike too, which has its own distinct sound. To keep the weight down, the fuel tank, tail section, heat shields, mudguards, headlights and instrument clusters are all made from carbon fibre, which is clear coated to leave the carbon weave on display. The trellis section of the frame is made from chrome alloy and the rear section is CNC machined aluminium. Wheels are 10-spoke forged aluminium by Marcassini, and the PGM V8 weighs in at 242 kilos. That's wet, ready to ride with fuel. Pretty damn good for a 2-litre V8. The suspension and brakes are all top quality as well, with the fully adjustable Öhlins 48mm forks and an Öhlins TTX 36 monoshock with custom linkage at the rear. To stop it are twin Brembo GP4 calipers on 320mm discs, with a Brembo P4 34 caliper and a 220mm disc at the rear. The top speed of the PGM V8 is simply quoted as "How brave are you?" and the bike's trump card is clearly its performance. But you also get top-of-the-line components, bespoke parts made from exotic materials, backed by a highly capable and experienced engineering team, and of course you get the bragging rights that come with the most powerful production bike in the world. Blasting out of France to an explosion of twin-cylinder exhaust note is the Medual Type I. As you will see, even though the Midual looks quite conventional compared with other bikes here, it is a very unique motorcycle. Midual say they aim to build motorcycles in the spirit of Swiss precision watchmaking, and as you get into the specs of the Type I, this starts to become clear. It runs a 1036cc twin-cam flat twin engine, but unlike with BMWs, this boxer twin is mounted inversely and tilted 25 degrees. This mounted position has some big advantages. It makes the most of the flat twin's natural balance and cyclical regularity by creating low longitudinal inertia, and makes for a low centre of gravity, but it isn't something you see very often due to the packaging issues to try to fit the engine in a modern day bike frame. The way Midual have solved these issues is covered by 5 international patents no less. The 6-speed gearbox is under the rear cylinder, the crankshaft is moved forward, and with a host of other unconventional shuffling results in the Type I having a near 50-50 weight distribution. The inverse mounting of the engine means that the Type I is also narrow, allowing for much higher lean angles and better aerodynamic efficiency compared to a transversely mounted flat twin. The engine itself has a bore and stroke of 100 by 66mm, featuring machined conrods and forged pistons. It's putting out 106 horsepower at 8,200 rpm with 69 pound-foot of torque at 5,500 rpm, and it has an 8,800 rpm redline. The most unique and unconventional feature of the Type I though is the frame. It has a monocoque frame which not only supports the engine but makes up the body of the bike. It is a self-supporting double-walled frame which is sandcast in an aeronautical foundry. The monocoque also acts as the bike's fuel tank, with its double-skinned form allowing for 14 litres of fuel to be stored inside it. After the monocoque's complex casting process is complete, it weighs a hefty 80 kilos, but it then goes on a diet which involves 90 hours of manual finishing, fine grinding, emery rubbing and finally polishing. It is then vacuum sealed and coated on the non-polished surfaces, with the finished frame weighing no more than 25 kilos. The Type I is supplied with Öhlins 43mm adjustable forks and a fully adjustable TTX36 rear monoshock attached to the aluminium swing arm. Brakes are by Brembo, with twin 4-piston radial calipers on 320mm floating discs up front and a 2-piston Brembo on the rear 245mm disc. The tubeless spoked wheels look fantastic, and although they are no doubt quite heavy, the Type I wouldn't look right without spoked wheels. It weighs in at 239 kilos, and if you have the money and decide it's for you, then there are 4 main monocoque finishes to choose from, and then a range of other materials and finishes to customise your Type I. It is a striking looking motorbike, and is the kind of machine where the longer you look at it, the more details you can pick out. It has a very classic look, but with a unique twist, and is clearly a modern machine. There is an unprecedented amount of care and attention to detail that has gone into the design of the Midual Type I, and that goes into the manufacture of each bike. Whether the level of work and detail that goes into it justifies the high price tag, you'll have to decide for yourself. What is for sure is that the money gets you a conventional looking but still truly unique motorcycle designed and built by detail obsessive craftsmen. What I most like about the Type I is that it's designed to be ridden and used, despite its artisan craftsmanship. The Combat Wraith sits at the top of combat bikes range and is a real head turner and anything but conventional. Founded in 1991, Combat Bikes describe themselves as building strikingly innovative and powerful functioning works of art. Centre stage and on full display in the Wraith is the huge 2163cc SNS 56 degree air-cooled V-twin. There is a smaller engine available, but why would you do that? The big unit is good for 145 horsepower at just 5,100 rpm and produces a huge serving of 160 pound-foot of torque at just 2,000 rpm. The Wraith has Combat's distinct monocoque type frame machined from solid military-grade billet aluminium, with a 7-inch backbone which forms its 17-litre fuel tank. It has fully adjustable suspension with a double wishbone monoshock setup at the front with carbon fibre girder style forks and a cantilever monoshock setup at the rear. The exhausts are inconspicuous under the bike and it has carbon fibre mudguards and tail unit. The wheels are also carbon fibre with a 19-inch front wheel and 17-inch disc wheel at the rear. The Wraith weighs in at 254 kilograms wet, which is impressive considering its size, and at full gas the Wraith will top 160 miles per hour. The Combat Wraith and all their other motorcycles are hand assembled in Birmingham, Alabama, USA. Their Combat can work with the owner to personalise the bike, but if you want one, a $100,000 deposit is required upfront as the bikes are built to order. The price of the Wraith includes a 1-year unlimited mileage warranty, 30 and 60-month factory servicing and any tech upgrades too. If you're in the US, it also includes door-to-door delivery, and you can also opt to pick the bike up at the factory and meet the team behind the bike if you wish. The Wraith comes in either a raw aluminium finish or a very stealthy looking black finish, and definitely has a presence all of its own. With modern high-grade lightweight materials and a unique design, it is a strong statement, it is definitely striking and certainly powerful. Top of this list is the Icon Sheene. It is both inspired by and a tribute to the forever famous motorcycle world champion Barry Sheene. As such, it features his famous number 7 and Daffy Duck logo engraved on the bike. But more than that, the bike is built in collaboration with the Sheene family and others who were involved in Barry Sheene's racing career through the years. The Icon Sheene is deemed the world's first ultra bike, and as Sheene won his 2 world titles with Suzuki, the Icon Sheene runs a 1400cc inline-4 Suzuki engine, but the standard conrods are replaced for Corello conrods and the pistons are replaced with Wisico items. The bike gets a Motec F1 wiring system with data logging and mapping adjustment. There are also 2 hand-built aluminium oil coolers which will be needed because there is also a Garrett turbo fitted. Running on 0.4 bar of boost, the Icon Sheene produces 250 horsepower at the rear wheel with a healthy 133 pound-foot serving of torque, and the boost could be increased further. That stunning aluminium tubular frame is bespoke to the Icon Sheene and was designed in coordination with Barry Sheene's frame builder. The swing arm is handcrafted and has an axle lifting system and integrated polished hugger. The fuel tank is hand-beaten aluminium and takes around a month to complete. The fairings are made from hand-laid carbon fibre. The Icon Sheene is tailored to each owner. Should you buy one, you would have a personal fitting session before the bike was built for you. You would also get the chance to meet the development rider and Barry Sheene's former teammate Steve Parrish. As an owner, you would be in a very exclusive club with only 52 bikes being produced worldwide, and each will have a unique touch. A numbered playing card is hand-painted on each bike by Barry Sheene's helmet painter no less. There is also the option to have him paint a helmet for you too, but that is for owners only. It is good that they have not covered the engine up with the fairings. Keeping it open gives a sense of the mechanical side of the bike, and putting the tubular frame on display shows off a key feature of the bike. That polished finish really sets it off too. The Icon Sheene is clearly a sports bike and has an aggressive stance, but it is road legal. It has lots of neat touches, and as with the other bikes on this list, the low numbers will keep prices high. And the link the Icon Sheene has with Barry Sheene also makes it more special. Exact pricing was hard to find, so maybe you could get one for a bit less or a bit more, but for now at least, the Icon Sheene takes the number 1 slot on this list. Okay, so the Honda RCV 213 VS's production run ended years ago, but hear me out. The original purchase price was around $194,000, £155,000 or €185,000 with the race kit, which would have put it at the top of this list anyway, but there is more to the story. The RCV 213 VS was made to be a road legal version of Honda's MotoGP bike at that time, and has all sorts of special trick bits and pieces, and it is even still used by Marc Marquez as a practice bike today. It has a 999cc 90-degree V4, reportedly producing around 215 horsepower with the race kit fitted, and weighs in at around 170 kilograms dry. But they were all sold, and you can't buy one new. Except you can, well, sort of. As reported in Motorcycle News in the UK, a 1 mile on the clock example was sold via online auction with collecting cars in December 2021. It was unridden and still in its original crate. This 2016 model achieved a massive £182,500 at auction, making it the most expensive production bike on this list by some way. However, you may be hard pushed to find another quote-unquote new RCV 213 VS. So if money was no object, which one of these amazing bikes would you go for? There is definitely a wide range to choose from. Let me know your personal favourite in the comments, and maybe you know of some other expensive production bikes that are not on this list. If you can think of any, put them in the comments as well. Personally, as good as these bikes are, if I had in excess of $100,000 for a bike, I wouldn't buy just one bike. I would buy an Aprilia RSV4 factory for the track, a Ducati Diavolo 1260S for cruising, a Triumph Speed Twin for day to day, and a Ducati Hypermotard 950 SP to go crazy on from time to time, and an Aprilia V4 1100 tonal factory, as it is the best all-round motorbike available. But those are my thoughts. What would you buy? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe learnt something too. If you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for plenty more motorcycle videos to come. It helps the channel and is always really appreciated too. You can click the links on screen for more now, but whatever you do, have a great day and thanks for watching.